Good morning. It's a real joy to be here this morning with you. It's my first time speaking here, so here we go. So there was a man, and it was Sunday morning, and it was 5:30 in the morning, and he went into the bedroom, and he gently went, "Honey, it's time to get up." And she said, No, I'm not getting up. And she rolled over to the other side of the bed. So he gave her a few minutes, and he went back in, and he said, honey, it's time to get up. It's Sunday morning. She said, No, I'm not getting up. So he went in the kitchen, and he did what the man is supposed to do. He made coffee. Do you know why it's the man's job to make coffee? It's in the Bible. Hebrews. Now you know. So he brings the nice, fresh, delicious-smelling coffee back into the bedroom, and he lets the flavor and the aroma waft over the bed, and he sees her nose start to do this. And then she stops because she's busted, right? And he says, honey, it's time to get up. It's Sunday morning, and you have to go to church. She says, I am not going to church. And he said, honey, you have to go to church. You're the minister. So Wednesday is Valentine's Day, and maybe some of you, like me, have someone special in your life. My husband and I have been married almost 48 years, and we were married in a Unity Church in Cincinnati. And as Faith said, we have 3 grown children who are all raised in Unity and 3 grandchildren who are all raised in Unity, except for one thing. The 2 little ones aren't here today because you don't have Sunday school. So please volunteer to do Sunday school. It's so important. That's my commercial. Okay. I got to say it. Thank you. But you know, Valentine's Day isn't fun for everyone if you don't have someone special in your life. And even though it's that Hallmark day where we do flowers and chocolate and go out to dinner or whatever, there are some people who might be hurting. But it's been said that you cannot truly love someone unless you love yourself first. That's why my talk is entitled, Love the One You Is. I know that's not correct English. You don't have to tell me that. Love the one you is. Because, you know, sometimes people take our power away and we regret it. And sometimes we're held back from being completely ourselves because we let other people just run over us. Sometimes we go along with a group even when we don't really want to. Would you be interested in creating a whole new paradigm in your life? To break out of something old into something different, better, new, amazing? There are some things I know about you that are true. You are more powerful than you currently believe that you are. Amen. I got an amen. The more you let your God-given strengths and determination shine, the more you learn to follow your own path, the more successful you'll be, the more powerful you'll be, the stronger you'll be, the more beautiful you'll be. And I can see you're already gorgeous right now. And the more you'll reflect God's light and love into the world, and we've never needed that more than now. This is what I know about you. When you fall down, you pick yourself back up and move forward. Because you understand that you are unstoppable. You're a force of nature. You have God in you and as you and through you. While we may not be perfect, I certainly am not perfect, we are really great at being who we truly are. In order to love the one you is, get your priorities straight. Now, my talk today comes from this amazing little book called 1,000 Little Things Happy, Successful People Do Differently. And it's not like chapter 1 or 2. I went through the book and I said, ooh, that's a good idea, that's a good idea. Great book. Okay, so 10 years from now, how many of you will actually still have the clothing that you're wearing today? Probably not many of us, right? So quit worrying about how you look, okay? Well, maybe some of you will, I don't know. Hey, if it still fits, that's a good thing, right? In 10 years, what will matter is how much we've loved, how much we've learned, and how we can apply that knowledge to making the world a better place. If we don't choose what matters to us, someone else will choose it for us. So in order to love the one you is, stop judging yourself. Each of us is perfect just the way you are. If you don't hear anything else I say today, remember that. You are perfect just the way you are. Some of us get up in the morning and look in the mirror and go, oh, yuck, my nose is too big. Or, oh, my teeth aren't very straight. Or, oh, I wish I had curly hair. Or, I wish I had straight hair. Or, I wish I had hair. But each of us has gifts and talents that no one else has. Please be compassionate with yourself. We're all a work in progress. My mother taught me not to judge another person until I walked a mile in their shoes. Maybe your parents taught you that also. But I think that the only thing that's harder than walking a mile in another person's shoes is learning to walk comfortably in my own shoes. Yeah. How comfortable are we in our own skin? We'll never, ever be truly happy until we stop judging ourselves. In order to love the one you is, take responsibility for everything you have done and not done in the past. It's a little tougher. You know, we create our own world by what we're thinking. That's a basic unity principle. It's called the law of mind action. We create our world by what we think, by what we do, and how we feel about it. How we feel about it is the energizer that brings things into our life. We have a couple sayings in unity. One is, thoughts held in mind reproduce after their own kind. Said another way, whatever you can conceive and believe, you can achieve. That has so much power for me. Whatever you can conceive and believe, you can achieve. Our destiny is not tied to the actions and the choices of other people unless we allow it. Our own destiny is to make our own choices, take responsibility for the great ones and the not so great ones. Because if our choices aren't great, the good news is we can take the necessary steps to change those things. After all, we can all make lemonade out of lemons, right? We know that. Either we take responsibility for our lives or someone else will. And if we allow that to happen, we will become subordinate to their ideas rather than becoming the master of our own dreams. I like that saying. I am the master of my own dreams. So I invite us to take responsibility for everything we have done and everything we have not done in the past. In order to love the one you is, treat yourself the way you want others to treat you. Now you might say, wait a minute, Lori, that's not right. I call this the inverse of the golden rule. You know, the golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Well, I say treat yourself the way you want others to treat you. Most of us, when we make an appointment, we keep that appointment unless, something happens. I had a dental appointment this week, and I got a text the day before that said if I didn't give them 48 hours notice before I canceled the appointment, it would cost me $100. That got my attention. Anyway, I have clean teeth now. Because we value other people's time and energy, don't we? How many of us, when we make an appointment with ourselves, like a promise to get up in the morning and work out, or a promise to spend 20 minutes in meditation every day, or a promise to floss regularly, do we keep these appointments? Or when the alarm goes off, do we hit the snooze and roll over and go back to sleep and say, I'll do it later? Sometimes we treat our friends and business associates better than we treat ourselves. Someone will always be richer, smarter, more attractive than we are. That's just life. But they will never be you. You can only be you. With your exact wisdom, with your skills, with your talents, and with that amazing inner beauty that I can see shining. You light up this room. So treat yourself the way you want others to treat you. In order to love the one you is, know your own worth. This is really, really important. Sometimes it's easier to believe in someone else's worth rather than our own. Studies show that people who grew up in dysfunctional families but go ahead and live happy, successful lives have one thing in common. They had someone who believed in them. They had someone who cared about him, someone to guide them, to give them advice, and to lend a listening ear. Someone other than their dysfunctional parents. Many of us had a teacher, or a scout leader, or a minister, or maybe an aunt or an uncle who believed in us, who told us we could do or be anything we wanted to be. What an incredible gift to learn to believe in ourselves, to believe, like, remember the little engine that could? I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. That was my favorite story growing up. Who better to believe in you than you? When we believe in ourselves, we support our own dreams, our own passions, not someone else's. That doesn't mean we can't, but we should come first. And please, watch that negative self-talk, that little monkey mind voice that says, you can't do that. Who told you you could do that? Definitely, definitely be careful about that. If we had a friend who spoke to us that way, who told us we couldn't do something, how long would we be friends with that person? Think about it. God don't make junk. I know that's another bad English, but that's okay. God don't make junk. We're created in the image and likeness of a good and loving God. So start living that way. Can we start believing in ourselves? Can we listen to that inner wisdom that's in our souls, that's always guiding us? I invite each of you to learn to start trusting your intuition. That will always guide you to the right and perfect direction. Sometimes that guidance only gives us one small step, and we have to wait until we receive that next small step. I call this waiting in God's time, that the universe hasn't quite lined everything up for the next wonderful thing for you, so we just have to wait a little bit. Back in 2019, we were living in Sarasota and thinking about moving to Arizona, and an associate minister job came up at Unity of Phoenix, and I applied for it, and I didn't get a response. Fast forward a couple of years, another job as associate minister at Unity Phoenix came up, and I applied for it, and I didn't get a response. Finally, in 2017, another ministry job at Unity Phoenix came up, and I applied for it, and I got the job, and I worked there for 4 years, and it was a wonderful job. And when I got there, I realized that those years before, with the people who'd been there before and what was going on before, it wouldn't have been the right fit for me. I had to wait in God's time. Because what we're praying for has to come into reality in this world of time and space. And time and space always slows things down a little bit. There's this lag time. You know, like if you have a turbo on a car and you hit the gas and it takes a second before that car takes off. But if we're trusting our instincts, if we're doing our prayer work, if we're sending out our resumes, we can be sure, absolutely 100% sure, that the universe is lining things up in the right time and the right way for our highest good. Even when nothing's happening in our time frame, be patient. Waiting in God's time is perfect time. So dream it, dare to be it, acknowledge your strengths, do what you're afraid to do. Ooh, that gives me goosebumps. Do what you're capable of doing, and just a little bit more. When Mark and I first got married, he went to dental school at Ohio State, and I got a job at Wendy's Hamburgers in their corporate offices. I was secretary to the senior vice president of franchising, and they had 150 stores, and when I left 3.5 years later, they had over 5,000 stores. Because Dave Thomas, the founder of Wendy's, would walk through the offices and say, give 110%. Give 110%. Give your all. Know your worth because you are worthy. In order to love the one you is, accept your strengths and accept your weaknesses. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses, right? Play to your strengths, that's what they say. When we accept who we truly are and accept everything we are not, we will become everything we're capable of being. That sounds like a good plan to me. The purpose of life is to evolve and grow into the whole person that we came to be. Change is always possible. There is no ability that cannot be developed with experience and practice. Have you always wanted to play the piano or the guitar or the drums? Take lessons. Have you always wanted to travel to Europe? Find a travel agent. Have you always wanted to get a puppy? Well, foster one first. Then you'll know for sure if you really do want a puppy. Right. We don't let our negative beliefs or attitudes stand in the way of our own improvement and success. After all, we only get one life to pursue the dreams that make life worth living. And it's our choice. Like Yoda said, choose wisely, my friend. Accept your strengths and weaknesses. Love the one you is. Believe in the person you're capable of being. We came here to grow and evolve into wholeness. That's our birthright. You're here to be you. I'm here to be me. Not someone our parents thought we should be, or maybe our high school guidance counselor. When I told my high school guidance counselor I wanted to be an interior decorator, she told me, that's a really hard way to make a living. People don't pay your bills and blah, 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 blah. And I listened to her. And 10 years later, I started my own interior decorating business. And you know what? People paid their bills, most of the time with joy, because what I liked best about that job was walking into a space, meeting new people, listening to their dreams and visions, and creating that so they had rooms that they loved to live in that made them happy. If you've watched any HGTV, you know that at the end, when they do the reveal, nobody ever says, oh my God, what did you do to my house? No, they say, oh, it's beautiful. I love it. It's awesome. Who wouldn't want a job like that, right? So I say, don't listen to silly people like my guidance counselor when they tell you you can't. It's only when we accept who we truly are, not who someone thinks we should be, that we'll be able to achieve our full potential. We're not what we've done in the past. Each of us is the sum total of everything we've ever overcome, everything we've ever experienced, everything we've ever learned, those wonderful things we've enjoyed, all the hardships, the mistakes, the rejections, the pain, all the times we question, why am I here and what am I doing? You've been there, right? These are the things that have given birth to the wisdom and the strength that will help us shine the light on the world, even in the darkest hours. We came here to shine God's light. It's in you right now. We came here to be who we truly are. So believe in the person you're capable of being. In order to love the one you is, be who you were born to be. Now, we all came into this world with gifts and talents. Our amazing musicians have musical talent. Some of us are artists. Some of us can write beautiful words. Some of us take care of children. There are all kinds of things to do. But no matter what you decide to do with your life, if you do what you were born to be, you'll feel better in every cell of your being. You will enjoy life so much more. Hopefully, we don't get to the end of our lives and that we find that the things that we've done just don't matter. The real tragedy of life is not death. The real tragedy of life is the passion we let die inside of us while we still live. Wayne Dyer says it this way: don't die with your music still in you. Don't die with your music still in you. If there's something in you that needs to be expressed, it's going to benefit people in the world. Let it out. If there's something you've always wanted to do what Nike says. Just do it. It's better to lose a friend or a job because we're being who we truly are than to keep a friend or a job and being something we're not. Mark and Angel Chernoff, in this little book of 1,000 Little Things, says, it's easier to fill an empty space where someone else used to be than to fill the empty space inside of yourself where you used to be. It would be a tragedy to fill that empty space inside ourselves with someone who we never really were to begin with. When we live from our authentic selves, people will love us for it. We will love us for it. Be who you were born to be. Love the one you is. Practice forgiveness. I know this one's a little hard. I just heard you take in a breath going, Life begins when our fear and our anger and our resentment ends. When we forgive ourselves and others, we free ourselves to live life with compassion, with love, and on purpose. Grudges and petty squabbles are a waste of time. Drama is a waste of time. What does Rev Mo tell you? She says, where two or more are gathered together, there's drama, right? I heard her say it. Forgiveness frees us from being an eternal victim. When we choose to forgive people who have hurt us, we take away the power they hold over us. When we forgive, we set ourselves free. Forgiveness is a gift we give to ourselves. It allows us to focus on the future instead of reliving the hurts of the past. And my experience has been that forgiving myself is the hardest person to forgive. If we don't practice forgiveness, our wounds will never heal. We'll never move on. We'll be stuck. What happened in the past is just one chapter in the book of our life. Don't close the book. Simply turn the page to a brand new blank page where you can write the story of your life any way you want. Practice forgiveness. In order to love the one you is, this is my favorite of all, keep having fun. It keeps us young, by the way. Fun may seem like an indulgence or an extravagance, or maybe it's just too frivolous, or something we'll do when we have time left over. And frankly, we're all really busy. There is no time left over. Having fun should be a minimum daily requirement. You know, like it says on your vitamin bottle, a minimum daily requirement. I invite us to take some time to have fun every day, to do the things we really enjoy, to spend quality time with those people you love, whether they're family members, whether they're neighbors, whether they're your women's or men's club. Spend time with the people you love. You'll never get that time back if you don't do it now. Pet the dog or the cat. Walk in nature always fills me up. Buy yourself an ice cream cone. Call a friend just to hear their voice. Thursday afternoon is my day to pick up my older of my two younger grandsons. He's almost 6. He's in kindergarten. And we play games, and sometimes we go to the park, and he's learning to cook. And then the family comes over for dinner, and it's one of the highlights of my week, spending that time with those people that I love. It's one of the ways I get my minimum daily requirement of fun. Having fun and doing things you enjoy should be a requirement for a happy and healthy life. Keep having fun. So I always like to give homework. This is fun homework. The homework, you know what a gratitude journal is, where you write 3 things every day that you're grateful for? Well, for the next week, I invite you to write down 3 things you really, really love about yourself. Make them big, audacious, and bold. And then when you finish the week and go back and look over that, I bet you'll be really surprised at how amazing you are. And then truly, you will learn to love the one you is. Thank you. Thank you.